Hello everyone and welcome to week 2 of the North American Challenger Series. I'm your faithful host, David FLICKR. Joining me is my partner in crime, Aiden Zyrian Moon.
Yeah, not always as faithful with my color-caster, or my co-caster, but,
no.
you know, we can't all be David FLICKR.
We can't all be. There would be only one of us, and that is me. Either way, though, last week we got our first look at the teams in action in the Challenger Series, and the field is starting to take some form of shape here. Now, to remind everyone, this year's Challenger is made up of best-of-2 series, so that means teams that sweep their series 2-0 grab 3 points, teams that tie grab 1, and teams that lose 0-2 get 0. With that in mind, here is how the teams are arranged. Apex and Team Liquid both went 2-0 over in Week 1, which gives them, of course, their full 3 points.
And Enemy and Team Dragon Knights split their series, each taking a win, which gives them 1 point in their column. And in 5th place, we have Dream Team and Ember with 0 points.
All right, so looking at tonight's schedule, we're starting it off with our Spotlight matchup, Ember versus Team Liquid Academy.
Yeah, we'll be bringing you both of those games. Then Seda will take over the desk as we pick up our second series with Game 2 between Dream Team and TDK. Then we'll jump into Game 2 between Enemy and Apex. And as always, you can circle back to watch Game 1 of both of those series by checking out the VODs on youtube.com/LOL Esports.
So now let's get ourselves into our first match. And tonight it's, again, Ember looking to take down Team Liquid Academy. Coming into the series, Ember was actually one of the more hyped teams in Challenger. They had this really cool sort of finance backing, like they picked up a lot of like really sort of well-known players. Right, it was like, all right, we're all about the infrastructure, we're all about doing it right, we're all about going hard. But they looked kind of weak last week.
Yeah, they played against Apex, who had 3 substitutes, and they lost 2-0. Yeah. So Ember right now has 0 points, but they weren't running their full lineup either. They were running Westrice in support off role.
Right, he's a top laner.
So he's a top laner, but now they're going to be able to run their full roster. Now they have Stunt, formerly Stuntopolis, playing and making his debut in the support role. Meanwhile, their solo laners Golden Glue and Solo have both been pulling double duty, and they played on Ember as well as filling in for Team Echo Fox in the LCS. And it remains to be seen if that will affect their game, because sometimes, playing with other players can cause you to develop bad habits, and it could affect their morale too, because their time on Echo Fox wasn't really that great to them. No. They ended up getting crushed by Immortals in 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes last week.
Right, so there's some rough things out there. We'll see if they can improve. Now, despite the possible downsides, though, Golden Glue still believes that there are benefits to splitting time between Challenger and the LCS.
Subbing in for Echo Fox definitely teaches. I get to bring back information to the Challenger scene of what LCS teams are playing, so it kind of improves our strategy and our draft and our gameplay, so it definitely helps us.
Well, I mean, TLA, they have a LCS team to go ahead and take knowledge back and forth from. I think they share coaching staffs too. So, Ember, they're going to need as much help as possible, because both of these teams, they had a lot of hype coming into this. And so far, TLA, they lived up to the excitement behind them. But Ember, of course, they had that 0-2 start. They need to bounce back.
Yeah, Team Liquid Academy, of course, have actually made their own couple of roster changes here. The big one is actually that I Will Dominate has finally rode off into the pro player sunset and retired from competitive play. He's been meaning to for some time, and he's finally found that replacement jungler. And that replacement is Zeri, formerly played with Frostbite, but a good jungler nonetheless.
Yes, and the last time we actually saw Zeri play, it was with Frostbite during the Challenger qualifiers when they were knocked out of contention by Team Liquid Academy in a 3-0. But Voyboy, the Frostbite's manager, he made an effort to make sure that his new guys found all these new homes after Frostbite didn't make it in, so that they were able to keep competing. And although the team hasn't had a lot of time to synergize with Zeri, change has been a constant for Team Liquid Academy, and we'll see how this affects them again and how they incorporate his aggressive playstyle into their game. There's a lot of question marks here for me personally, because historically Team Liquid Academy have always had an immensely powerful jungler. They had Dardoch, they had I Will Dominate, and these guys are used to playing around that. So I want to see what happens when they have a jungler who isn't quite that level, how that affects their laners.
It'll be an interesting thing to watch for sure. We'll see how the teams stack up here, and as we get ourselves into the game, let's check out the starting lineups. Spawning on the blue side is going to be Ember here, top lane Solo, jungler Contract, Golden Glue in mid, Laudlin AD carry, with Stunt making his debut on support.
And facing off against them is Team Liquid Academy on the red side. That's top lane Zig, in the jungle the new guy Zeri, Young Bin in mid, Fabi with 3 Bs and 3 Ys, don't get it wrong, at AD carry, and support it's Smoothie.
Yeah, speaking of players with weird names, I didn't realize for a while that Steelback actually intentionally has 3 Es in Steel.
Yeah, he's Steelback.
Yeah. That actually caught me off guard. I didn't realize it. Like the entire season watching EULCS, I didn't really recognize last year, but figured it out when he came to NA. Either way, he's actually not even in this game at all. But Fabi has a sweet name, obviously. And as the teams get ready, Champsec's going to begin in a second. And it's okay, Ember can shake off their 0-2, all right, not the start they wanted, but here's like, okay, well, now you have the real lineup together. You know, they initially announced that it was going to be with Glebe, and then a few weeks ago they realized, you know, Stunt, I believe they said it was like really obviously, I don't remember the exact wording, but it said it was a very drastic improvement when Stunt was in the lineup. So as of about a month ago, these guys think this is the lineup they're going to play with. This is the lineup that's going to be good, and Ember can now try to get some points to the board.
Did you see the Ember hype video where at the end it's like, you know, I'm here to win, so I'd fire Bao.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
So you like that?
Yeah, I love you. You're my friend. It's cool. But if I had to fire you, I'd fire you right away.
Yeah, like maybe that's what happened to Glebe, where they were like, okay, they're here to win.
Mean, that's the thing.
Ember is invested in this scene, and they're invested in the infrastructure, and they're spending a lot. So they want to win, so they're going to do whatever it takes to get the lineup to that point. So throwing Stunt in there is what they think is going to be the kind of magical formula for them.
Yeah, absolutely true. And, of course, Team Liquid Academy, no slouches in their own, right? Of course, they 2-0'd last time around. And as you mentioned in the pregame, there are some big shoes to fill with both Dardoch and I Will Dominate now essentially off the squad, and Zeri stepping in, who's, I think, you know, next best man up, but is somewhat of a downgrade, and we'll see how well he can grow, because many players have gotten very good under the TLA tutelage, so it is something to watch for.
Yeah, they have a great infrastructure that's already been tested, and they share it with the LCS team, so they get to scrim the LCS team. So Zeri, you know, he's lost historically 6-1 this year to Dardoch, but he gets to scrim him now over and over and over again.
True.
So hopefully that improves him, and they're looking at some great picks here for themselves as well.
Yeah, first couple champions come through. Kalista, first pick is interesting because that gives away Poppy over to Zig, which is a very, I think, important champion to play here. Right now in 6.2 as we're playing on. Europe played on that last night. It means Shen is enabled. We didn't see much of him in the EU Challenger Series. One game across 6, no bans. He did win, though. He's a good champion. Yeah. But Poppy coming through, Rexa coming through, and then on the other side, somehow Alistair got down to second round blue side alongside of Victor.
Yeah, I'm going to jump over to those in just a second, because this Quinn ban on Ember side, Quinn is probably going to be showing up a lot. Quinn is incredibly powerful, and a lot of teams have caught on to, oh wait, she's still really good top, and people are trying to find out what counters her, and if you don't know yet, you just flat out ban her. Because people are playing Graves into it, and that's really the only thing that they feel comfortable doing. Yeah. So as we go down the lineup, so Kalista, Alistar, powerful combo. They have the wave clear here for Ember. It looks like everything's just coming together so far, but Liquid Academy, they have the Poppy top. They already gave away that it's going to be top or it's going to be support because they have the Rek'Sai locked in. But Ryze is still up. They still have all of these power picks available, and I think that this draft is actually lacking a little bit in terms of like people who are going for these gigantic top lane carries, except for the Poppy.
Absolutely true. So we'll see as that lines up here. Now Lux and Lucian got picked up now for TLA. They are waiting on their support pick at this point, allowing Poppy to be a flex pick to a certain extent. She can flex down to support, and Zig can still go to counter pick for the top lane. Otherwise, everyone else is in their basic roles here. Meanwhile, Ember have to fill out their lineup as well with a jungle and a top laner.
Yeah, I actually really like Lux, because Lux right now, there isn't a whole lot that actually counters her in lane that's meta. You kind of have to go like, well, what could I champion select that? Oh, Talon counters her. They like play Talon and do it. Right? Like Zed is really like pretty much the only one. Frost Queen's claim is nerfed on this patch though, and she was one of the best users of that. So she's actually fallen down a little bit in the tier list, but in 6-1 she was incredible. Of course, we are playing on 6-2. Kindred Jhin disabled, Shen enabled like you said, but Frost Queen's claim has been nerfed again. So.
Yep. And Ember right now are hovering. They were hovering the Shen. Now it's switched to Dr. Mundo, which is the more likely lock in here. Mundo top also did get some nerfs. His R cooldown is much worse early game, gets better late game, and also his E, his attack damage buff, also a bit nerfed. It's going to be Fiora top, Mundo jungle actually, as they lock in the last 2 champions. And now Team Liquid Academy have to make sure that they're okay playing Poppy into Fiora, which is usually okay.
Yeah, it's actually what people prefer to do now. They're like, oh, it's Fiora? Well, I guess we'll play Poppy into it. We already had it locked in, so I assume that's going to go top lane to go up against Solo. Make sure that you can keep him locked down. Poppy is incredibly strong. And it's funny how things actually developed, because it's like a Poppy fantastic support, so Europe is like playing her in support. LPL is like, okay, we're going to try this out top lane. And North America, we're like, jungle, it's all about the jungle. And then everybody's like, actually, oh wait, she beats Fiora? Everyone just top lane, every time. And you just give her so much gold, and people are like, her base damages are really high, but they realize that when she gets enough levels, she gets that 2-second E stun really quickly. Yeah. So that's what people are looking for, like They want those levels. They want that experience. Yep. They want to be able to have that 6-second combo that they can lock you up in. Yeah,
and they're locking in as much cooldown reduction as possible as well so that they can get that second round of stuns up as soon as they can. Last pick comes through for TLA. It's going to be Thresh here for Smoothie. So basically the first time we're actually seeing both of these teams' full squads on display. This is the first week of TLA playing with Zeri, and it's the first week that Ember's been allowed to play their full lineup here with Stunt on the team here. So this is, you know, though we're in week 2, this is now go time for both these squads. You've got 4 more opponents left to play here. This is opponent number 2 of the 5 overall opponents they're going to have in the season, and it's just go time for these teams. They've got to pick up wins now.
Oh yeah, especially for Ember. Yeah. Because Ember starting off 0-2. If you start off 0-4, you only have 6 games left. So the best you could possibly do is 6-4 and rack yourself up 9 points.
Yeah.
But there are already teams that are off to like 3-point leads already, TLA being one of them.
Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting battle of TLA sitting at the top of the standings, Ember sitting at the bottom, but both teams hoping their lineups look good. So you guys at home are always part of the conversation. Who's going to take game 1? Tweet at LOL Esports with hashtag MBR win or hashtag TLA win. Let us know who it's going to be, but we are going to get ourselves into this match very shortly. A best of 2. We're going to bring you game 1 and then game 2 right afterwards of Ember versus Team Liquid Academy. Ember looking to get some points on the board. We'll see if they can do it. TLA can defend first place here.
Yes, and TLA, of course, they have high expectations. They came into the challenger scene thinking that they were going to just completely wreck it. And then they had LCS roster issues. TLA became more of a farm team. This is where the other half of the 10-man roster, this is where the other half lives in Challenger. So they get this experience, they get to keep playing, but the changing of this roster is an inevitability when you have that 10-man roster, is something you want to pull from when somebody's not performing.
Damage already dealt in the mid lane. Youngbin with an auto attack would trigger Thunderlords. Golden Glue just doing
Whoa, Zeri hasn't purchased.
Zeri didn't buy any items.
Yo.
That is not a good way to start. The thing is, he only got the trinket because it was automatically given to him via the fact that you literally get a yellow trinket if you just leave the base without buying. At this point, Zeri has to realize because he used the trinket, which means he looked at his items. So yeah, here's the recall. He won't be late. He's recalled in time that he can buy and then get up to the thing, but already a sign of nerves. Honestly, that Zeri is like, okay, we're in here. Here we go. I'm playing in the Challenger Series. And just forgot purchasing is a thing.
You know, the funny thing about Zeri being on TLA is that this guy lost against TLA in the finals of HTC 3-1, and then he lost to TLA in the Challenger qualifiers 3-0, and now he's on TLA. So they stopped him from qualifying, they stopped him from winning a tournament, and stopped him from making a name for himself. And now he has to make a name for himself on the people that had stopped him. Like, this has to be some type of identity crisis.
But
look,
at least
am I a jungler anymore? What do I buy?
At least they give him the respect of putting him on the team, though, right?
Yeah.
You 3-0 the guy, and you're like, no, but you're still the guy we want for the squad, so I can't hate too badly. But now we'll see what's going on here. So Zeri got a leash for the top lane. You got Poppy to help him out there. You're seeing actually different starts for really both these teams, as Ember have sent contracts to more or less solo farm, while Laud and Stunt actually did Krugs by themselves and then walked into the bot lane here. So quite a couple of different starts here on both these squads. His contracts is Mundo, so he's got really no problems getting through the jungle.
Yes, Contracts, of course, very young player that's been having a lot of hype around him, but he didn't deliver last week. He got both Graves and Elise, very early aggressive junglers, and he wasn't able to perform on them. He got shut down. He wasn't able to affect the map at all. He had the most deaths in the first game that they played. And this guy, he came in, and I was pretty much convinced by everybody talking about, oh, he's really good. He's young. He's up and coming. He's going to be this great NA talent, right? He's like Dardoch 2.0. And I've yet to see that from him. And now he's on a jungler that's much less aggressive, and doesn't have that strong of an early game. So waiting to scale up. I want to see what he's able to do in the mid game.
Well, the funny thing about his early game being weak is bot lane's already in a kind of a bad spot. Don't let the 14-2 fool you down there. It's not the worst thing in the world, but top lane is where we're going to look, because Zeri has now cut off Solo, and Solo's on the wrong side of this lane. He's going to actually block the knockup. That was huge and allows him to walk away with a flash.
Sometimes you just have to hold the burrow. You got to play chicken.
Yeah.
Like, it's whoever uses their ability first. You should really just wait it out. Ooh.
But can Void Sharks play chicken? I might not be able to.
Ooh.
Contracts. That's actually really smart by Youngbin. He trinket wards the blue, expecting Contracts to counter jungle it, and even just that action by itself got Contracts scared. And he's actually got to run away from Smoothie here. Slow's gonna land. Not an easy hook for Smoothie.
Just for he's looking for range. Oh, he went
Solo,
back.
wow, in the wrong spot of this lane. It was on the wrong half, and he gets taken down. First blood goes to Zig already. bad things starting for Ember.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure if that was a necessary flash from Zeri there to get that knock-up at the end. So I think that was a little gratuitous because the flash from Solo had already been burned.
Well, there's a hook on a lot as well. Fabi dodges to get away from Alistair. I like that choice. Plenty of damage on a lot, but he's got to be careful of Brent damage. And he can hit that whenever he wants. There it is, Fabi low. And of course, Ember have healing, so that trade is actually not to TLA's advantage.
Yep. TLA, Fabi, he actually has had a great series so far. 11-2-2 on Lucian, and then 8-0-10 on Kalista. So he's been having a fantastic time. And then Zeri right here. See how it goes. Waits it out, and then...
Yeah, I think he might have gotten away.
Yeah.
Riposte into Q got him pretty far out of range. Zeri looking for another attempt on a Golden Glue. Gets the knockup before getting stunned. Young Bin's going to look for the bind. Good dodge by Golden Glue and all as well, but early lead to TLA thanks to that first blood.
Yeah, thing is, though, is when the riposte is like that, you can take a step away, and then if you time it correctly, you just auto-attack it. So if she tries to dash
you just
over you...
right-click on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call. You're right. There's actually a play that Zeri could have made with better Rexa mechanics.
Yeah. But still, he does get the kill over to his top laner, Zig, and this is the matchup that Poppy gets to dominate in the top lane. This is why she became so popular.
And look at this minion line here. It's going to get worse. This is going to push for sure. Solo does not have wards. Rek'Sai should just be in that river right now, killing her again.
Oh, that's going to freeze really hard, too, towards Zig. So Zig's in a great spot.
Zeri's moving blue over to Youngman. That's cool and all. But... like, if you're Zig, you'd be like, hey, bro, top lane stuck on my turret. Zeri, why even do Gromp right now?
Yeah, and because contracts can come up here and help break the freeze, or they can put enough pressure that this gets pushed to turret, just like this. And now the freeze is not as effective, and he has to break it. So it's unfortunate for Zig, because he had a situation where he could make more of an advantage, but they don't want to kind of sit on their hands and do nothing. So it looks like they want to be rather active here. But I do think that that's a missed opportunity. And even,
yeah, and as much as this freeze will sort of break in the sense that it's now going to push towards Solo eventually, it's still on the wrong side of the lane. It's past the river. Solo is still flankable, which is why you saw Contracts up here for so long, by the way. He's waiting around, trying to make sure he's around if something goes on, but still, I think a missed opportunity from Zeri.
Yeah, because it also, if you bounce the wave incorrectly, then it starts pushing back towards Solo. Like, and then that means Contracts can just come from the side. Contracts now has warded up the entire jungle, so he's trying to track Zeri's movements. Pink ward on the backside of the red.
Yeah.
People don't usually check that brush, even to this day. And then he's warded up both Raptors and Krugs.
I gotta totally agree. Really good stuff by Contracts here in the early jungle. Those three ward, like, if you can do this, this is really good. Now, to be fair, this exact play got Kez killed in Enemy versus TDK Game 1, if you go back and watch that. He ended up getting tracked, but these are like the god wards that like guarantee nothing could ever happen to you. So Zeri is spotted top jungle. They know all about this.
And I like that too, because what happened, Contracts took both Krugs, so took the big one and the small one, because the small one's worth a big chunk of gold. And then he went to Raptors, and he only left one Raptor. So making it so that that entire side of the jungle is pretty much useless to Zeri, but he still got the information that he was there. So Contracts is now going to walk over to this side of the jungle. And there it is.
Zeri already made the trip. Smited the wolf as well, which spots Contracts. Contracts knows the wolf was just smited because you can see the health bar on the wolf spirit. All said and done, Contracts kills the trinket ward, and you can see that Zeri rushing swiftness boots doesn't have that same tracker's knife.
Yeah,
it does run really fast.
Contracts is trying to basically flood the map with vision, still holding onto his trinket, not pushing it over to Sweeper, and putting his smite onto the Raptors as much as possible. And it actually happens very early now, since vision is rather scarce. Wolf Smite and Raptor Smite are worth so much that people are actually prioritizing Wolf is almost #1.
Yeah, Wolf Smite's super good. It's weird, because for a while, people didn't really like to get it, but it's probably still not very good in solo queue, but in competitive, it's super strong, absolutely. Yes. Bottom lane still being pushed in. You're seeing actually a huge lead for Smoothie and Fabi, by the way. These guys did play together last week as well, but Fabi had qualified for Challenger playing alongside Matt. And Smoothie brought down from the main squad, replaced with Matt.
It's another Thresh player.
Right. I mean, he's obviously very good, but this dual lane is already crushing.
Yeah, but Fabi is surprising me. Fabi's a player that, and I've said it before, like gatekeeper of Challenger, right? Troll and solo queue, people aren't taking him too seriously. Comes to competitive, and he's just having a blast. He says it's so fun, but he's performing so well. His games have been crazy. Like, I just added up his score, and he was 19-2-12 last week.
It's pretty good.
He's been dominating, and that's the thing is TLA, when we saw this team before, we're like, oh, okay, Dardoch and Matt are a big part of this team. They're like the heartbeat. They're the shot callers. Fabi is doing an amazing job, and he's been this great plug-and-play aggressive AD carry.
Yeah.
He's been showing that his champion pool is not just the whole Vayne, Raven thing that people thought he was.
Sure. Yep, winning lane by 22 CS against Laud and Stunt, who are good players in their own right. So really nice stuff here. Smoothie and Fabi both getting credit for the good laning phase here. The rest, and of course, they've done this without any jungle intention at all. Zeri got Zig first blood, otherwise been playing the ward game alongside Contracts. And every other lane is basically equal in CS. That's the one lane that's like straight up winning without intervention.
Yeah, that's where this lead is coming from, plus that kill that went over to the top lane. The top lane is even to this point. And it's a strange matchup when you have that Poppy Fiora, because it's always who can really duel the other. It depends. Is there a wall nearby? Then Poppy can utilize that.
Yep.
Scuttle fight. Oh, man.
And of course, Zeri's top of a ward. Has Smite, and Smite battle goes, I believe, to Contracts, actually, as they do the fights back and forth. Contracts would have to flash if he needed to. Dragon gets aggroed. He's going to keep taking damage while regenning. He's hoping to buy time for his team to make them do something. And the thing is, TLA, yeah, they eventually force a flash, but they can't lane if they sit there trying to get Mundo.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good idea to just waste time, because you know you're going to back pretty soon anyway.
Yeah.
With the blowing of the ultimate there and the flash. Who said this the other week? Somebody said scuttle rebuttal.
I have not heard that before. It wasn't me. It sounds like a Rivism.
Yeah, it sounds like a Rivism. I heard it the other week and I was like, so good. Like, yeah, I guess it was Riv. It was Riv. I got confirmation on that. It was so good. He's going for the scuttle. TP comes down. It's a scuttle rebuttal. I love it so much. Every time I see that, I now think of that.
Well, it's good. You should. Riv is really good at coming with little clever phrases.
His brain just works in a way that mine never could. He just has these things that just like, oh, I connected these dots, and it's just fascinating.
One thing that Riv likes to do is just swap the first letter of two words, just say it out loud, like like David Durley instead of David Turley. But like he can do it for any word off like at the drop of a hat.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He just has trained himself to be able to like transpose those letters really cleanly. It's a really random skill.
I do that by accident.
Yeah, no, he does it only on purpose.
I do it on accidents because I'm speaking too quickly.
Yes. We've all been there. Well, Zeri has been to the bot lane now. He's looking for a gank. Of course, right now, minions would probably see him go between those two brushes, so he has to wait. Contract similarly looking to the top lane here. Golden Glue does not have any offensive summoners. We're going to go behind Youngbin right now, who is out of mana. He's going to push in for quite a bit of damage here, and Youngbin's got to be pretty careful on this one. Good binding dodge by Golden Glue, and Youngbin has to flash, but it doesn't go very far. The shield is enough to stay alive, though. Contracts will not get that kill.
Wow, so they got the flash out of him. Youngbin didn't go too far. I was actually a little bit afraid for him because Contracts still had a lot of HP, but he didn't have flash, so if he had continued that dive, he wouldn't have had a way to just abort and get out very quickly. Of course, TP to the bot lane, though. Zig on the backside.
This could be all kinds of dangerous. The knock up onto Laud. They want the Cliff to flash away, then pulls in Stunt's going to knock the team with some more. A wall slam by Zig gets one, and now Solo in the middle of this fight. Knockback goes on Alistar, so now Solo is alone. He can try to pick up Smoothie. Good flash by Smoothie. Outplays the Q, but still, they've picked up Zeri, who overstays a 1-for-1 in this fight, all said and done.
And meanwhile, you see on the top side of the map, Contracts is actually just trying to maximize his time. More wards down. He's just continuing to ward, and now he's going to go push top lane and try to get it into this turret.
That's really smart. He can deny two waves by shoving this wave in, so Contracts had ganks mid, he burned a flash, and then knowing where to go right away is solid. Zeri is a good gank for the bottom lane and a good first blood for the top as well, but dying in a fight that I think they should have been farther ahead in. That dive didn't end up being worth much for TLA.
Yeah, and so what ends up happening here is Smoothie gets aggro first, and then when that happens, your timer is actually the support's HP. So they're waiting, Smoothie's taking damage, then they're buying time. Laud throws Stunt back in and hits Zeri. Now Stunt gets thrown out of this, and they think that they can take on Solo here, but Solo ends up getting a great Vital here. Right at the end, a fadeaway Vital flash out. So it ends up being a 1-for-1 at the end.
Yeah. And you can look at this gold score, and Ember are actually winning in money overall. They're down kills, they're getting wrecked in the bottom lane, but look at the farm that Contracts has. He's done so much to outperform Zeri here, even though it's like 0-0-0. I realize Zeri's gotten 2 ganks off, but Contracts is rich and he's warding super well.
Yeah, I'm actually interested to see the gold difference here. He's 600 up.
Yeah, which is the entire reason this game is not just entirely TLAs right now.
Yeah, he's 600 up, which is the difference between Fabi and Laud.
Right.
So he's making up, he's compensating for that. Now they're 200 gold ahead. But yeah, he's farmed the jungle, and he also got that top lane wave so that he shoved it into the turret. So Contrax is just playing the map in a smart way. See, I just did it. The Mart in a smap way.
Good job. Good job. Good job. Proud of you.
No.
You're learning from Rib.
No.
Oh, nice smite. Zeri steals that one away. 92 gold to him. It's actually a really large gold swing. The funny thing is that actually brings the gold post equal here. Golden Glue has to run back away. Ooh, Zap doing her best impression of Rise. He says that, by the way.
Yeah, and also a Jinx ability.
Also true. Rise did it first.
We like onomatopoeias.
Is that really an onomatopoeia? I guess it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I guess you're right.
It's the sound it makes.
It sounds like Zap, I suppose. Well, yeah, no, I'm with you on this one.
Good.
Now. Okay, Laud and Stunt in the bottom lane, holding up best they can. Down 36 though. Fabi and co doing better and better over time. The mid laners have really not had much going on in their various lanes. They're mostly just chilling, occasionally getting hit up by some junglers, but it's been a fairly equal situation. Fabi, hook on a Laud would have been pretty risky. Laud, they're all taking some damage. Stunt's pretty pained as well. Bit of cooling damage, but all is okay.
Yeah, it looks like Zeri's just trying to get Zig ahead in this matchup so that Solo doesn't become the split-pushing beast. And they're going to go for another play. Here's a TP, too.
Puts the riposte as best he can. Does not get the knockup, though, as that was Zeri timing it properly, taking a whole lot of damage. He's going to have to drop aggro. Now, Youngbin is here, but there's no turret, no minions in range of the turret. Solo on the wrong side of this fight does not have flash, does not have ulti. Has very few tools to escape
Zeri has to be careful.
He's going to take plenty of damage. Nice Q. How long to repose is up? Gets it just in time to block the ulti. Zeri gets a knockup back in though, and Solo kills him again before Zig can get the stun. And Golden Glue goes in, misses the ulti though, and Zig will get away.
Oh, in the bot lane though, we do have some action going on here.
And it's a pretty big dive. Here we go, up on a Smoothie. Alistair gets a double knockup. That is huge, and Contracts got in behind. There's the first kill picked up. Now Smoothie's gonna be next. Easy Ren kill goes over to Contracts. 2-for-0 in the bot lane, a 1-for-1 up top, Ember ahead.
So what's happening in this game is Zeri is trying to make plays, and both times Solo has gone 1-for-1 in those trades. You think that the numbers advantage from TLA will make it so that they come out with a 1-0 or a 2-0 or 2-1, but they go even on that. And then Contracts finally makes his first big play of the game besides taking CS, comes to the bottom lane, comes from behind, and it looks like it's a great situation, but that from Stunt and the Alistar ulti, these supports are doing a great job of taking turret aggro and making sure that they hold on to it for the duration of the gank. Very well played there. That gets them bottom turret and 2 kills for 1, actually 3 for 1 overall.
Yeah,
in favor of Ember.
Really, really nice stuff. TLA now on the back foot. Looks like, I mean, as much as like Zeri has 100% kill participation, right? He's getting these ganks off. These ganks are getting kills and blowing summoners. Like, that is accurate and a fair statement, but he's overstaying. He's getting chunked out. He's getting killed off, and learning his lessons around riposte or not is just not actually working out as well as he would have hoped for Solo. Getting a bit of damage on a Zig. They just trade blows and walk away. But now, Ember starting to make their first play. Stunt and Laud have swapped up to the top lane here. They're looking for another turret to kill, which has given free roam for Fabi to knock down bot outer. This will probably be a turret trade. But the first turret of the game was earlier going to Ember. And they look to keep the pressure on. And Zig is alone here. He's now got Zeri with him and Smoothie coming in as well, so that should be okay.
It's 3v4. If they can pull off a tower dive here on Ember's side and actually create an advantage, they still might lose bottom tier 2. Somebody has to go answer Fabi. So right now, Ember has to decide, do we 4-man dive on 3 people? Do we run mid? We need to send somebody bot, though,
yeah.
Or we seed this turret and we give up this advantage. Because Fabi, he's got good items right now, and he went for Zerker's Griefs. He's not going for those Swifties.
That's weird. I actually don't think it's a good choice on Lucian, but it's up to him right here. Gets just a million damage as bot tier 2. Really just a late call by Ember to just not realize that Fabi is still pushing. They showed 4 people top. Solo late to the party. This turret dangerously low on health. This will die to the next push.
Yeah, it's an indecisiveness there. But when you see that happen, you have to say we dive top and we take the risk, or we call it off, we siege top with 3-on-3, and we send one person back to deal with it. Because they just lost 80% of that turret HP to Fabi. And like you were saying, yeah, the Ionian Boots of Lucidity are a little good on Lucian. You hit that 40% CDR alongside the Essence Reaver.
Yep. Yeah, I think an incorrect choice there by Fabi, but it's not going to really mean the worst thing in the world. Item efficiency is a nice thing, but it very rarely decides games, so I won't talk about it too much here. Lod getting some free time in the top lane, though. Contract's joining as well. I've come to realize that it's not the most important thing in the game. I know that, but still plenty of damage here on this turret. Contracts will tank up the hook. Not a big problem for him. Cleaver on a smoothie. Top lane tier 1 goes down. And the turret lead remains in Ember's favor, but there is still that weak bot lane tier 2 that Fabi had hit before.
Zig?
He's going to Q auto it. He's trying to play around that.
Oh!
Still didn't have the damage. Zig takes it down. Solo can't kill this.
No. Solo can't kill him right now. He's got 2 armor items, and he also has that sheen. So there's a lot of damage on Zig's side now, as well as tankiness and durability.
Easy pick up there. Did you know? Lod picked up Earth Arrow.
Did you know that if multiple people stand on it, it does not work the way you said it did?
Yeah, pretty sure about that one. Don't worry about it. Oh, he's going to kill that blue trinket. Yeah. Good job. So, wow. Ember looking, honestly, significantly better.
I think Contracts is having a good game, especially in comparison to Zeri.
Yeah.
That's what's making this look the way that it is right now. And the map movements, TLA, they did lose both of their shot callers in Dardoch and Matt. And then they had Dominated last week, who's a very vocal member and a team captain. And now they're splitting up the duties once again. Of course, a lot of teams subscribe to the democratic shot calling system, where everybody's just contributing information.
Yeah.
So TLA right now, the calls seem, with this new voice on the team, a little bit all over the place. Ember, though, they're still having that same problem, too. It doesn't look like they have like a solidified game plan where they're checking certain parts of the map or where they're looking for weaknesses and then diving in.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good play, like the swap top lane to go knock down a top lane outer turret, but they weren't in a position to actually fully dive that when it did happen. Meanwhile, Stunt Contracts finding Zeri. Zeri ulted into the jungle, says, I don't want to be here. Just kidding, everybody. Knocks the ward down and hides away.
Take the laser. But like you were talking about how that happened where Fabi got bot lane turret damage and they got almost nothing top, but that was a decision that Ember made that wasn't very good, and then they remedied that.
Right.
And then TLA abandoned their top turret in terms of numbers and lost that very quickly. So both teams had a back and forth where it was a decision that was made too late or not allocating the right numbers to the right position.
Well, as it stands, TLA trying to hold the scraps of their jungle. Thankfully for them, Contracts only has 2 Sightstone charges, so it's pretty hard to keep the wards up to get swept away by smiting Raptor buffs and things of the sort. Young Ben has been able to wave clear pretty efficiently over in the mid lane, but is losing CS slowly to Golden Glue, who's up 30 CS already in the mid lane here. Yep. Zeri getting pushed out, down to 1,000 health, and you can see Ember doing a really good job of just shoving so many wards into the map.
Wow, this is actually quite bold because they look at the backside, Solo's there, and it's a skirmish all over the place.
Stunt getting a 2-man knockup twice, and already they picked up Fabi. Now in towards the front lines, as on the side we have Zig just getting wrecked right now by Solo and Contracts, pushing forward, getting the kill. Young Ben's gonna be next. Flash pulverized by Stunt, takes him down. This fight is already a 3-for-0. Make that 4 as Zeri goes down. Smoothie, the only one left alive. Ember crushed that one.
Ember digging deep to try and get their first win of the Challenger Series and make it so they don't have that big goose egg in the win category right now. They want some points.
And this is the Ember squad that people were excited for. And the funny thing is, most of this game wasn't being won by Stunt coming in for Westrice. I mean, he's made some good plays, don't get me wrong, but bot lane was losing. It was Contracts getting a ton done in the early game, and now with this mid-game lead, they're rushing for a Baron.
They do have the Callista, and there isn't really anybody to answer this. Zig has TP in 3 seconds. Young Ben has TP when he's up in 4. They can double TP to this, but still, 2,000 HP? No, it's going straight down.
Then down it goes. A small mistiming on Ren versus Smite. Not the worst thing in the world because no one stole it anyway, but Ember recalling 22 minutes with a Baron buff, and they've got so much to do now.
So the minion wave is pushed up by Fiora here on the top right, and Fabi, he gets blown up because what Golden Glue's been doing is just farming to get to this point right here. He's 30 CS up above Youngbin, and he's okay with being at that point in the game. Stunt picks that kill up, and also off on the side, something really cool that actually happened up here is Solo. What happened was Zig, he was trying to knock both of them away with Keeper's Verdict, and it knocked one of them away, but Zig actually used riposte on it and got the stun.
He walked in and basically walked into his face and hit riposte because that hit me with the hammer. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Got the stun, got a lot of damage off on Zig, and then picked up that kill. And now Fiora, he's at that 2-item spike. He's ready to split push. He's ready to do a lot of damage here. With this Baron buff, this squad can actually get a lot of turrets off of this. The wave clear,
Yeah, I totally agree.
They still have to deal with the Lux, but they've been showing that they have this Alistar. They're not afraid to dive with Alistar Mundo as a combination.
And so right now we're sitting at 4 turrets to 1 and 8 kills to 3. The first minute of Baron buff has been used up, and it's right now Ember taking control of the jungle. Run in and put some wards down. Taking over top side.
Wait, what was that?
What?
Who was he ultiing? What was Youngbin doing?
I think he was trying to hit Golden Glue off the bind and then missed. Because Golden Glue got Q.
He must have his minimap in the bottom left corner.
And he hit the minimap?
I think he might be a reverse minimap player.
Oh, man.
So I think that he was aiming for Golden Glue on the bottom left of the screen and clicked on the top of his minimap. I don't know.
I didn't see Youngbin cast the ulti. You just said, and I was like, wow, that binding, man, sure would be a good Lux ult right now. And then it didn't happen. And I was like, huh, that's weird.
Yeah.
And you're like, where'd the Lux ult go? I'm like, not at Golden Glue.
Yeah, I went somewhere else. But Golden Glue, I actually do want to talk about his build because this is kind of the new hotness again.
Right, yeah.
Relonomicon is back.
Right.
It was reduced in cost, and Frost Queen's Claim was nerfed slightly in terms of the cooldown and all of these other parts of it that over time. So Relonomicon is a great bargain buy now for mid laners once again.
Yeah. Has to run away from that one. Thankfully does dodge rest of the culling, but that QSS was vital. Now they push it towards the mid lane. They want something done here, but Contract's getting bursted out, and Ordio has been killed off by Zeri. They trade back as Smoothie goes down, but still Solo in the front lines heals up the team with the ulti. 3 kills for 1 already as they kite away from Lux and from Fabi's Lucian. It will be at least the middle inhibitor. Good push with the Baron buff.
There's such a great distribution of damage as well as having a lot of tankiness on Ember's side. They have the Baron buff. They might be able to end the game right here. These are 25-second timers. They might have this Nexus at 25 minutes, Freak.
At 25 minutes indeed. Already they've pushed in. 1 turret down, the second one gone as well, and no one's back yet to stop them here. Fabi nearly getting one shot by Golden Glue, and that will be the first win of the season for Ember. Took them just 25 minutes and change, and they've knocked this one down. TLA dropped their first game, and Ember moving up the standings.
And it looks like the acquisitions for both teams, picking up Stunt, although it didn't look like he did a whole lot this game, he did have a good performance for his team.
In the team fights, he did great.
Exactly. 107 for himself, being a large part of this game, only missing out on 3 kills. So they waited for those points. They waited for when Golden Glue had a lot of gold and could blow up Fabi. So despite Fabi being ahead in gold, it didn't even matter. And the fact that he was having a good laning phase.
Yeah.
So good play there from Stunt, having a good debut here. On the other hand, though, Zeri was kind of bullied around. Zeri was kind of pushed around the map in terms of vision, and he was trying things. He was trying over and over again to make stuff happen, and he was getting things, but then he ended up getting counter-killed. Those 2 dives where Fiora solo ends up with 2 kills both times, you have to go watch those again. You have to look at them and be like, wow, that could have been a play that we came out on top of, and because I got greedy, because I decided to keep following him, that ended up giving it away. So I think that Zeri is struggling here, and I think TLA, they're actually going to have a hard time bouncing back from this because they, like I said before, historically have always had a very good jungler in their midst, and now they have to deal with someone who's got the most deaths on the team. Their laners now have to worry about, is he going to enter my lane the right way? No, seriously.
Okay.
Because when I play with a really good jungler and I'm playing a laner, I feel safe, right? I feel like this guy's got my back. He's going to pick on the enemy jungler, right? Contracts is keeping track of where Zeri is.
Yeah.
So when you're keeping track of them, when you're fighting them, when you have that dueling potential, like just think of what Dardoch did on Graves, right? He's bullying people around. He's showing up to the skirmishes. He's got such a great kind of intuition of where the enemy jungler is going to be now. And Zeri seems like he's just lacking that little thing that means that's saying like he's going to be here now. He's going to be there now.
Right.
I know how to move him around the map with my movements. So it's just that next level he needs to get to.
I mean, I think a lot of it was nerfs. So we knew coming in that he is a very aggressive jungler, right? First out of to swiftness. Got first blood at like 4 minutes into this game, right? He had made some good aggressive moves. And when I think back to the match they lost to TLA, when he was on Frostbite, him playing over aggressively, looking for an invade, getting killed invading. And this is him being a little bit nervous playing his, first Challenger Series sort of regular match of 2016 and being a bit inexperienced, and making some mistakes, overstaying, overpushing, not leaving on time. You're absolutely right. And the aggression bit him just barely, but of course hard enough to be a bit of an issue. Overall, it was just a well-played game by Ember, though. The early game was solid enough that even though Solo got ganked and got first blood in the top lane, everyone else held up as best they could. And then mid-game came around, contracts got huge, and then team fights were good for them.
Yeah, they seem to play their win condition where it's Victor get to the point where he can blow up Fabi or blow up Youngbin, and then you're pretty much good to go. So I think that Ember, they had a much better, much more solidified game plan in my mind, because Contracts, he was on this jungler that's not super aggressive, but farms quickly, and then mid-game can just dive turrets no problem, and they just waited for that to happen. So good plan there, and they executed on it. They didn't get too caught up in the madness that was trying to be created top lane.
Yeah, well, good job by Ember. They took game 1. We're going to see if they can take game 2 as we step away for a little bit with the team strat for what that game 2 is going to be. We'll be right back with Team Liquid Academy versus Ember. A wall slam by Zig gets 1, and now Solo in the middle of this fight. Knockback goes on Alistair, so now Solo is alone. He can try to pick up Smoothie. How long to propose? Sun gets it just in time to block the ulti. Zeri gets the knockup back in though, and Solo kills him again before Zig can get the stun. The front lines is on the side. We have Zig just getting wrecked right now by Solo and Contract, pushing forward, getting the kill. Youngman's gonna be next. Flash pulverized. They trade back as Smoothie goes down, but still Solo in the front lines heals up the team with the ulti. 3 kills for 1 already as they kite away from Blux.